packed, watched parties across the metroplex, and Mexico fans flooding Sundance Square and Fair Park and Klyde Warren Park as their team in the last few minutes just secured their spot in the knockout stage. Big night for Mexico fans. We're going to get to that in just a moment. A lot to celebrate. But first, we got storms on the horizon, possibly overnight. Start off with meteorologist Damian Lotus tonight, tracking some of what you might see and maybe might hear by the morning, I guess.
Yeah, that's right, Doug. We've had one severe thunderstorm warning out west near Abilene, and that's going to be the line of storms that eventually works its way here towards North Texas as we head into the overnight hours. But in the meantime, we're still talking about that oppressive heat that we were seeing so far this afternoon here across parts of North Texas. And I just want to point out, currently, temperature-wise, we're in the 80s. But look at this. Dallas still feels like 98 degrees outside. I just want to put this in context. Ran the numbers. The highest heat index we had here across the region, 120. That's what it felt like this afternoon in Comanche. Dangerous heat here for today. The heat advisory has expired, but now we're shifting towards watching severe weather with heavy rainfall. We have a flood watch in effect for our northwestern counties until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So far, this yellow zone right here is where we're forecasting the highest potential of severe weather. We've had one severe storm here in Abilene. That severe thunderstorm warning has since expired, but when we put the time of arrival here, Doug, looks like the storms will be crossing the I-35 corridor right around about 4 a.m. So I'll have an updated look at that detailed timeline coming up.
Well, it is an off day for World Cup matches here in North Texas, but you'd never know it. The big game tonight brought tons of fans. This is Sundance Square in Fort Worth, where the party and the celebration is on. Place was packed tonight for Mexico versus Korea Republic. Mexico, by the way, defeated South Korea 1-0 in just the last couple of minutes before we went on the air. Match also drew big crowds, so large at the Fan Festival in Dallas that they took every ticket available and they packed that place tonight. But you know what? Fortunate for you, I got a guy who's got a press pass, and that's our Marvin Hurst, who is joining us from the inside. Man, looks and sounds fun, buddy.
So how do you say FIFA arena experience without actually saying it? Mexican soccer fans grabbed up every possible ticket that they could tonight. They filled up their park tonight, hoping to cheer their dream on to victory, and they obviously did. They came out here and they decided that they were not going to make their couch an option, not going to make their backyard an option, and here's why.
Marvin Hurst, man, thank you, buddy. What a night for fans. This is, again, Fair Park in Dallas. This place was, we call it a sellout. You don't have to buy a ticket, but you got to get one online. Marvin and the crew having a good time in Dallas. From Dallas, let me go back west over to Fort Worth, where Mexican culture was on full display during tonight's match. Photojournalist Yuli Romero tonight to take us to the watch party that did happen, and it did happen in a big way at Sundance Square.
Celebrate Mexico soccer football because they're playing against El Corea del Sur, South Korea today, and we're gonna have a great time with them. We're gonna hopefully win and take it all the way. Mexico, all the way, Mexico. Mexico, 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 Mexico.
Wanted to see how the crowd was like. There's a lot of people showing up for the game.
And I love our culture too, so I'm so excited to see our country being represented here in the World Cup.
This just brings us together. together. I think it's just La Raza, you know, it just brings us together. It's the vibe of the music. It's the vibe of the family. It's the vibe of just Mexico.
Our thanks to our Yuli Romero taking us inside tonight. But let's look ahead to tomorrow. Tonight was huge. Tomorrow, how about that? Team USA, pivotal game for the U.S. men's national team. As you see, they're going to be taking on Australia. This game's going to happen out west in Seattle, and both teams got a lot on the line. They're hoping to qualify for the knockout round, which will be next, and a win tomorrow is going to seal that qualification. Kickoff is set for 2 p.m. our time. We got another huge game locally, also 4 days away. Lionel Messi, the hat trick guy the other night. Defending champs Argentina taking on Austria Monday. That'll happen in Arlington at Dallas Stadium. Winner of that match also advances to the knockout stage. We do have a tough update on the news side for you tonight. A man who we talked about 5 o'clock and earlier, who was caught in a trench collapse under an apartment building late this afternoon, has died. That's the late word tonight. Dallas Fire Rescue telling us that workers were digging a tunnel of sorts under an apartment complex in northwest Dallas. As they were digging, the tunnel collapsed on one of their workers. Our only ID is not a name, but just that he was a 29-year-old young man. Officials tell us rescue crews had to cut through the concrete foundation, in fact, and remove about 3 feet of dirt just to get to him. We're thinking about their family tonight. OSHA is now investigating. Police tonight asking for any help that you might be able to offer, identifying 2 people who opened fire at a South Fort Worth home with people inside. Watch this. This happened last Friday on Prickly Pine Trail. It's in the Sycamore Landing neighborhood. No word if anybody inside was hit, but if you know anything about this, you are urged to call the Fort Worth Police Department. Now tonight to a fight to get clean water out of the tap. Simple as that. In the small city of Trinidad, southeast of Dallas. You'd think it's easy, but some residents tonight are demanding answers about their city's water system. They say that they have been dealing with discolored, sediment-filled water that smells bad too, and for months. As our Aaron Jones tells us now, some are worried that that water is a health hazard.
For some time, David Logan and his wife, Misty, have had concerns about the water coming from their taps. Then they say their daughter developed painful skin injuries. They came to this Trinidad City Council meeting hoping this would be addressed.
Been nothing but silence. My daughter was hurt. I have people on the city council that thinks it's a laughing matter, think it's possibly from a tanning bed. Their personal opinion. They can have it.
Logan says a doctor determined his daughter suffered chemical burns likely linked to repeated exposure to something in the water. Jennifer Combs, who lives one town over in Kearns, shares their attorney and has filed a lawsuit.
The water is the main issue. The residents were being silenced. I got involved because a 70-year-old-ish, I don't know her exact age, woman was basically bullied online and her post was taken down, and all she was asking for was where she could find water to be donated to her.
Combs says at the center of this was the former Trinidad police chief, Charles Gregory.
So the police chief took my post, took a screenshot of it, posted it on the police department's page, and made a big long speech about inciting the public in a panic.
Combs says she was arrested on a felony charge of making a false alarm or report and went to jail for 23 hours. That charge was later dropped. Then the city's police chief resigned. Last month, she filed a lawsuit.
It's against the police department and it's against the council members and the city of Trinidad.
Combs says she also attended this meeting wanting to learn more about the water issue.
Like a lot of these small towns, we've got a lot of infrastructure that's very old. We've got a water plant that's pretty old.
Mayor Dennis Hawes says aging pipes in an outdated water plant are part of the problem, but fixing them will require resources the city doesn't currently have. At the meeting, the council approved the purchase of a single water turbidity meter, saying it will buy more time.
Best result, the state comes in and makes changes and fixes the water for the people.
Both Combs and the Logans say this issue is far from being resolved. Tonight, a water infrastructure advisory committee was created, and city leaders plan to have a special meeting next Thursday. In Trinidad tonight, Aaron Jones, CBS News, Texas.
And just so you know, CBS News Texas did reach out to all the city council members and the city's administrator to ask them about the ongoing issues Aaron just talked about. But after numerous emails, nobody replied to any of our requests for any comment. There's a new state investigation that is now laying bare the chaos at Camp Mystic last summer when flash flooding swept through, killing 25 children and 2 camp counselors that night. 115-page report. It's big. It concluded Camp Mystic did not have adequate emergency plans. Staff were not properly trained. Camp leaders also did not adequately prepare for the storm, nor did they evacuate in any kind of timely manner. We know evacuation started almost 2 hours after flash flood warnings were issued. And finally, reunification efforts and incident management had traumatic effects, they say, on families as they waited to hear about their children. The flooding, we know, happened overnight. It was the middle of the night, almost a year ago. 2 victims to this day still have not been found. We did reach out to Camp Mystic for a response on all of this that came out today, but no response from them at all. Camp Mystic leaders have already said they will not be reopening this coming summer.